This is the worst crypto market ever in the history. Well, that's what a lot of people say. And the reason for that is, well, Bitcoin's been running hot. There's been a few smaller altcoins that have had their turns in running, but a vast majority of people have not made the amount of money that they expected to make, whether that is what they heard from friends or what they've seen from previous cycles, whether they were a part of it or just heard stories of people making money. So if you're one of those people where you feel like, why can I not make money in this cycle? Today's video is perfect for you. Once every 4 to 6 weeks, I reevaluate my portfolio. I reevaluate all my theses, and I look at where is the next 4 to 8 weeks? Where is that trending? Is it infrastructure? Is it AI? Is it RWA? And then I bring it all to the table. I do my research and I decide, okay, I need to allocate this much here. I need to remove allocation from this project, add it into this one, open a new position here, close my position there. So I'm gonna be sharing with you my 7 highest potential upside plays for the rest of the market cycle, or at the very least, the rest of the year. Some of these might give you a 2 to 5x, which is great. We're talking, remember, the next 3 to 12 months, 3 to 5x, great. Some of these might bring you 10x. And a couple of them have the potential to give you a 50 or 100x. I'm not being hyperbolic here. I'm not trying to blow smoke up your you-know-what. This is just what I think, my opinion based off of my research. So with that being said, let's jump in and let's start with HBAR. Now, Hedera has been a project. I've interviewed Mance Harmon. We haven't interviewed Dr. Lehman, but we've had Mance on the show as recently as a few weeks ago. That video's in our Hedera playlist. Go watch it. It was one of my favorite interviews I've ever done. Hedera serves a very broad purpose, and that broad purpose is institutions. Well, then you dig into, well, what are the institutions doing? Real world asset tokenization, payments, infrastructure, all of the above and all of the below that I haven't mentioned. That would take me too long to mention all of them. You have an ETF that is coming, and guess what? Bitcoin ETF went live. I think it was, someone correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, but the most successful ETF launch ever. Please correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, in the comment section. Ethereum ETF got off to a slower start, but we're seeing record number of inflows. It's a vehicle that Wall Street is used to. It's a vehicle that are already investing in, and guess what? Now they can have exposure to some of the top crypto assets, and Hedera will be one of them. We always talk about their governing council. Well, guess what? Mance Harmon is now the chair of that governing council with his expertise, his know-how of literally, him and Dr. Lehman built Hashgraph from the ground up. So they know exactly what it can and can't do, and they know how to pitch it the right way and who to pitch it to. So I'm excited to see where that takes us. And with the potentially new governing council members, who will they be? What will they give back to the ecosystem? What kind of resources will be spent? To me, Hedera is one of the safer plays with a lot of potential upside. And so that is my first pick. And now as I go through these 7 coins, doesn't mean the first one I like more than the 7th one or the 6th one I like less than the 5th one. It's just the order I went in. The first one I want to talk about was Hedera. Now, number 2, you guys know I'm a very big AI bull. My business partner doesn't believe AI has a lot more room to run. I actually disagree. I think there's a ton of room to run in AI. And when you look at, well, what is the number 1 AI project, that makes sense that I can sit there and say, I can see why people are going to buy it. I can see why people will have to buy it. And that is BitTensor. Just massively, grossly undervalued at a $3.5 billion, fully diluted, $7 billion market cap. Guys, we're talking about an industry that is projected in the trillions. In the trillions. Now, what are some unique things and why do I like BitTensor? Well, number 1, BitTensor's tokenomics model is almost identical. Some say it is identical to that of Bitcoin. Halving cycles, 21 million capped. As you can see here, total and max supply is 21 million. And guess what? Its halving is in 2 months, 62 days. And ask yourself this question. What does Bitcoin typically do a couple months or a month before it's halving? What did Zcash literally just do and its halving is next month? I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen, but that's the trend. Even ETH was doing that when it was formerly proof of work. Now it's proof of stake. So you have that. You have the potential parabolic run into the BitTensor chart, into the BitTensor community, the subnets, the halvings coming up, emissions get cut in half. There's also been an upgrade to their subnets. So previously, if you wanted to launch a subnet, you watching, you have to put up, I think the number was 2,000 or 6,000 tau BitTensor tokens. You would have to lock it up, and then you can create your own subnet. Well, the problem is that those coins are still, not the problem, but the coins would still be considered in circulation, although they're locked. And then if you get deregistered, you decide, I want to do it. Now, I don't know the ins and outs, but you can get that 6,000, 2,000 BitTensor back. And if you've given up on your subnet, you're probably going to sell and leave. Well, guess what? Now, to run a subnet, you're actually burning the tau. So everyone gets so bullish on buy back and burn, buy back and burn. Well, guess what? And I believe, and again, if I'm incorrect or you know the number, put it in the comment section, 2,000 or 2,500 tau. Every time a subnet is registered, every time a subnet is launched, 2,000 to 2,500 tau is completely removed from circulation. We're not talking about some meme coin where it's got quadrillion tokens circulating. We're talking about a cryptocurrency project that currently has 10 million tokens circulating. Now do the math, 2,000, right? And I think the numbers were 1 or 2 subnets a month. Do the math. I'm not gonna do it for you. Do the math and then be like, oh, wow, okay. So if people are doing subnets and now the tau tokens are being burned, there's less to sell. The halving, it all makes sense. Plus, obviously, with AI, and some of these subnets are gaining mainstream adoption. Look at Sports Tensor, Subnet 41, and their partnership with Polymarket. Look at Subnet 44 with Score and what they're doing with the Sire token, which I'll just give you a little teaser. Sire is on this list, and I'll tell you exactly why, but that's a little bit later in the video. So you got Shoots, you got Ridges, and ones that haven't even launched yet. That could be revolutionary. Yuma. The Yuma subnet, just as with Barry Silbert, they're starting a fund to bring the best developers and builders into BitTensor. BitTensor is my #1 altcoin hold in terms of value relative to my portfolio. I am very bullish, and I remain bullish on BitTensor. That's number 2. Number 3, also, in my opinion, a very safe play. It kind of falls into the Hedera camp of very low downside, medium, I don't want to say low upside, but medium upside. You're probably not going to get 100x out of this or 50, but you can probably get a 3 to 5x out of this one. XLM, Stellar Lumens. Why? Well, one, when you look at from a technical analysis standpoint, we go to the weekly, massive consolidation, long consolidation, and I've done this in XLM videos multiple times, on the live show multiple times, but just in case you've landed on this video and you've never seen any of our other content, on the weekly, big W pattern, and looks like we're completing and looking to break out of this bull flag, which is the last step before the massive W breakout. And what we're targeting here is around 70 cents. So just from where it is now to 70 cents is a 2x from the number 15 project in all of crypto. So that's from a technical standpoint. From a fundamental standpoint, everyone can agree, and everyone does agree, payments and stable coins is what makes the most sense when you're explaining it to your uncle, your grandfather, or your mother. Hey, son, or hey, grandson, what do people use crypto for? Well, how about this, grandpa? You can send $1 million to anyone in the world and you could pay pennies and it arrives in 30 seconds. So I don't have to do a wire. I don't got to do my, so the idea is it's practical, it's probable, and it makes the most sense. And when you look at XLM, fastest of finality, some of the cheapest rates, Jed McCaleb, and what he's been doing, he's been in the space a very long time, former founder of Ripple. So to me, this makes like some of the most sense, very low downside, extremely high upside. And so XLM is the third one. Now, the following, outside of 2, I'm going to share 2 with you that are a lot higher risk, but with that comes a lot higher reward. Let's start with my favorite agent, which is Sire. You guys know, if you've been watching our channel, I am very, very bullish on Sire, formerly known as D-King. Our community, myself included, got into this project at around 800,000 market cap. So we're sitting on a really nice 20x right now. And it did get as high as, from a market cap standpoint, it did get as high as 25 million. So a solid, call it 25x from the where we got in to the highs. Now, some got in at 1 million, some got in at 2 million, which is still an 8 to 10x. Amazing, right? I believe this thing has so much more upside to go. Let me share with you why. This is a big one. We've seen the massive explosion in predictions markets. Look at what Polymarket just did. The largest crypto raise ever, $2 billion from the company that literally owns the New York Stock Exchange. Okay? That was Polymarket. Predictions markets. Sire is in predictions markets. Their team of 7,000 AI computer scientists and quants are working on building this thing out. Vaults are not even live yet. They've been testing it. It goes live October 16th. And let me tell you, I think you're going to see a violent price correction to the upside. Now, of course, I could be wrong, but I am betting that we're going to see a violent mispricing. I think for this project to sit at $16 million might be one of the most undervalued projects relative to what it's doing, its numbers it's pulling, and its on-chain metrics. The vault goes live on the 16th. The first tranche has been increased from 100K to 250K. So the way this is going to work, if you are a holder of Sire, you will get priority. You can deposit USDC into their vault, and you automatically are invested in what Sire predicts, what it puts money on. And they went from just soccer or football to now tennis, American football, basketball, and more to come. And so it's going to be year-round. If you can't see it in my voice and how I'm projecting, I am uber and ultra bullish on this project. This is the update they just posted. 2 weeks ago, we shared an update on the A-Vault performance with nearly 2,000 trades. Since then, the vault kept executing. Current ROI is 137%. They started with 10K. They're sitting at $23.7 thousand. This is, you can check out their vaults, their win rate, how many trades they've put in. And I think this is over a 4-week period, my friends. 4 or 6 week period. Think about that. In 4 to 6 weeks, 137%. Now, I don't know if this is going to be sustained. Maybe it'll be higher. Maybe it'll be lower. But if you can nail 30 to 40% ROI in predictions markets per month, and if you are a token holder, you get priority. I don't know if there's going to be a cap. I don't know if they're going to say no to people, but guess what? If this thing continues the way it is, you're not just going to get me and you that want to put our money in there. They've already nailed down one of the largest, if not the largest, sports betting hedge fund in the entire globe. With $300 million of assets under management, they've already built a partnership with them. Imagine who else is going to want to come in. So if you're sitting and looking at Sire, you can scroll down this list. It breaks it down by sport. Baseball, it was their number one in ROI, plus 6.6K in 2 weeks. Tennis, basketball, football, American football, MMA, right? The MMA was negative, small drawdown. We'll say 50.74% win rate. Summary includes all trades shared in the Vault Telegram. Tomorrow they're going to post another. So at the very least, what I'd recommend is go follow this and just follow the progress of what this agent is doing. For it to be sitting at a $16 million valuation is so grossly undervalued. I would recommend you take a look at this project. The next one, I want to give a shout out to personal friend and friend of the channel, Brokioshi. He put this on my radar, Hydrex. Now, when I heard of Hydrex, I was like, okay, it's another DEX. Everyone's a DEX. I'm like, what makes it unique? I'm like, you know what? Let me dig into the numbers here. You take a look. This is the base ecosystem. Let me make this bigger. Now, I'm not going to scroll all the way because Hydrex with TVL is currently sitting at number 56 with 10 million in TVL. But the growth over the last 30 days is 62%. Number one in the entire base ecosystem. You can check for yourself at DeFiLlama.com. Over the last I believe this is a 90-day time period. Let's scroll up and double check. 30-day time period. So you had 1 week and then the 30-day time period. You're looking at, let's scroll up a little bit. Let's find Hydrex again. Right here. 9,600% gain in TVL. This thing was just trading at around about a little over $1. It's sitting at a 16.5 million market cap. It's getting love from the base ecosystem OGs. It's getting love from Jesse Pollock, I don't want to say the engineer, but the face of the base ecosystem. And this is where DeFi is, a lot of people are saying DeFi is going to live. Some are saying it's the competitor to Aerodrome. Some are saying it's going to stand on its own 2 feet. It's going to be the largest infrastructure when it comes to DeFi in the entire base ecosystem. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but at a 16 million market cap, this is something that has a lot of potential high upside, but also a lot of potential downside. So keep that in mind. So that is Hydrex. It's a play on infrastructure. It's a play on DeFi. And more importantly, it's a play in the base ecosystem, which I am very, very bullish on. Let's move on to infrastructure. And that is Eigenlayer. Now, Eigenlayer, when it first came out, very confusing. Well, what do you mean restaking? What the hell is a restaking? You don't need to know what restaking is. Just know they're helping people make money. This is an infrastructure play. This is a restaking play. And this is also, there's a massive discrepancy between fundamental and technical analysis. I'll share that with you. Now, let's take a look. This is TVL, their total value. So they're synthetic versions of mostly ETH. Look at the growth. Look at this growth of the token values. You got wrapped ETH sitting at 13.5 billion, when a year ago it was sitting at 7. So almost a 2x. You look at the token breakdown. You can take a look at token balances, how that has absolutely exploded. You can also go in and take a look at their TVL versus the price. And this is where I mentioned the discrepancy. In blue is your TVL. Okay, your blue line is your TVL, your total value locked. You zoom out here a little bit. And your green is your price. You can see, going back to October of last year, these were moving in alignment with each other. TVL was going up, spike in price. Look at what's happened. Eigenlayer's TVL broke out from May of this year at $7.8 billion to a peak of $22 billion, and the price stayed flat. So there is a discrepancy there. There is a divergence there. So unless you believe that the token price is not going to mimic what it did last year, and that the rise of total value and people coming onto the network, plus what EigenCloud is doing, and really everything, like with infrastructure and it being an ETH play where all the institutions are going, unless you think that none of that matters, then sure, fade Eigenlayer. But when you look at a project that's sitting at a 3 billion fully diluted market cap, and this could potentially be a top 2 infrastructure play on ETH, and there's a discrepancy between value and price, that, my friends, is what we call high upside. And I don't want to say very low downside, but fairly low downside. And we still have an entire year before investors get their tokens unlocked. So you have an entire year for the price to move without potential sell pressure from the investors that invested in this price. All right, and the last one. The last one, and I know my team that's sitting in the control room right now, one person specifically is going to laugh inside when I bring this token up. That is Zcash. I talked about this on today's show, and I'm not telling everyone, I'm not telling anyone. I personally am not buying Zcash at $213. This is a train that's going 100 miles an hour, and I'm not trying to jump on it. And I'm probably going to fall onto the train tracks and get electrocuted and die. I don't want to do that. I want to wait for the train to come to its next stop, then I'll hop on. It's not coming to a stop right now. It did come to a stop here at around $130. About a little bit there, like not nearly enough to even crack the top 15 of my portfolio. But let me tell you something. On the next big leg down, I am rotating heavy into Zcash, and I'll tell you exactly why. I brought this up on the morning show this morning. Like Tau, identical tokenomics to Bitcoin. 21 million, halving cycle. It's halving is coming up, I believe, in about 30 days or less. Capped supply, proof of work. And the beauty of it is, though, it's privacy, right? It uses zero-knowledge proofs. Now, I started thinking, we've been seeing a lot of news about old ancient whale wallets in Bitcoin that have been sold, that have been selling, that have woken up. So you ask yourself, when these cypherpunks and the Bitcoin ethos, privacy, no middleman, peer-to-peer with Satoshi vision, it was in the white paper, when that became invalidated after the ETFs went live, Bitcoin's too pricey to do just normal $5 transactions, peer-to-peer. It's not becoming institution to institution, bank to bank. Sovereign wealth funds are holding it. It's now become a narrative of digital gold versus peer-to-peer transfer. Where do you think these people are going to put their money? Well, Zcash, I would argue, does exactly that. It's made to transfer money back and forth. It's got a privacy element to it. And it's got everything that the Bitcoin people were bullish on when it came to its tokenomics. Everything I mentioned. Halving, cap supply, zero knowledge. They're making updates. I believe they talked about becoming quantum proof, quantum computing proof. And then this post by Arjun. Bitcoin and Zcash both have the same fair front-loaded emission curve where it's just miners dumping for the first 8 years. Interesting take here. Even Bitcoin couldn't sustain a price above $1,000 until its second halving, after which it skyrocketed at $20,000. Zcash hit its second halving in November last year and is now entering price discovery mode. Emission curves matter. So with that being said, okay, David, I'm sold. I don't want to jump on that train either. Where's this train going to stop? 2 levels I'm keeping my eye out on. And I'll be honest, guys, there is a small chance that we don't see these levels again. I hope we do because I want to buy. I hope we do. So those of you that have Zcash, I would hold on to it. Of course, I'm not telling you what to do with your money, but that's if I was in your position, I would be holding on to that Zcash very tightly. If we can get a trip back down to $160, I am a buyer. If we can get a trip back down, which I don't think it's going to happen, but if somehow, and the thesis remains, if we can get a trip back down to $81, this will probably be one of my largest buys that I've ever done in the crypto space. And so that's yeah. And so this one is very unique, but because I believe this one has low downside and potentially very high upside. I'm not saying it's going to reach $1 trillion like Bitcoin, but can it get to 100? Hex got to 88. SHIB got to 50. ADA, without smart contracts, got to 100. Can Zcash get to 100? Where's Zcash at now? It's at 5 billion. Can it 20x from here? Potentially. We're talking about a $4,000 Zcash. So I don't know. This is just my thoughts, my thinking, but the 7 coins I shared with you today, there's some other ones, but these are the ones I am most bullish on. These are the ones that are forefront of my portfolio outside of Zcash, which I'm working on accumulating. And so that I believe have the highest upside. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Of these 7 I shared, which one is your favorite? And which one is one you like that I didn't share in the video? Let us know in the comment section. And also make sure you subscribe to the channel and come check out our live show Monday through Friday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Till the next one. Peace.